Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we bring you the final match of round 1 of the A Link to the Past Crosskeys tournament 2021. It's Illus versus Schulzer, game 3, and commentator for this will be Amazing Ampharos. Take it from here.
Hello, Zelda Speedruns, and I'm happy to join you for the last match of round 1. Illus and Schulzer are already 1-1, and should have a pretty exciting game coming for you. The winner will get the privilege of racing against Zelda. So, Schulzer was one of the two players who was 7-0 in the Swiss stage, and he ended up losing to Goomba in that last Week 8 match. But that is his only loss so far, and he's going to be looking to keep that up, hopefully looking to rematch Goomba down the line. While Illus, of course, made it through the play-in, and he's going to look to keep playing well to stay in the tournament. We have a little bit of a divergent start. Schulzer goes with my personal favorite, a Sank start, while Illus goes with the somewhat trendy Link's House Houlihan start. Some players really dislike this starting strategy because it commits nearly a solid minute, a little more, to farming rupees that otherwise you very well may not need. But the upside is it's a very consistent strategy. You get money for bombs, you check a couple of places that are normally very awkward to route in, the useless fairy drop and the potion shop. The potion shop in particular can be very problematic to catch up to whenever you want. And it sounds like I'm joined by Jinxie Girl. Hello there.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing just great. You just cut the volume of words I have to throw out in half.
Yeah, sorry. I just pulled in. I was like, I'll jump on here, say a couple things. Looks like we have Kakariko Well already accessible, which is super awesome. Small key to Skullwoods. Pretty much all I saw because I'm still getting set up here.
There was a lamp as well, but kind of the fun thing about the Cack Well and the Houlihan and non-Houlihan start here, normally one of the big downsides, probably the biggest downside of the Houlihan start in my opinion, is you drop into the well about 1 out of 7 seeds without bombs, and you just have to leave a chest behind. But because Schulzer walked right from Sanctuary, he's actually realized exactly the same downside that Illus has here.
Yeah, it's always very, I don't know, annoying in the beginning of the game trying to find those bombs. You know where a few are, with those 50-50 drops, but just not having them and kind of wanting to bite the bullet and jump over there and check that useless fairy entrance. It's kind of almost a little bit too much to resist.
Yeah, if you're already over there, it would be madness not to check the 4 chests in the Cackwell you can. The odds aren't horrible there's a bomb chest in there anyway, but they're not super high either. So we have a little bit of a divergence here as well. Schulzer's headed toward Cack, got a 1 for 2 from the 50-50 bomb bushes, and immediately found a hook shot. Illus is checking these entrances northwest of Lake Hylia. These are very accessible, but it can be very easy to put them off. So far we just found Misery Mire, which is good long-term value. Would be a little spicier if Illus had that hook shot that Schulzer found.
Yeah, definitely. That early hook shot, though, man, that is awesome. With that early lamp, that's going to give us our Dark World access, our Dead Mountain access here with that Uncle Rescue over on Schulzer's side.
Yeah, and rescuing the old man here was kind of a double upside as it dropped Schulzer out of the Hera entrance. That's very good because that's normally the one entrance you can't get to without a mirror. But now Schulzer will be able to full clear the western mountain, hook shot to the eastern mountain, and there's just going to be a lot of entrances. Kind of the downside of this is Schulzer is not going to be able to check most of Cack and instead prioritizing the mountain, but the mountain's just as good, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to kind of be prepared to go over and make kind of double dips in different areas, especially when you're playing Crosskeys. So I feel like you're going to get a lot of knowledge just from this dip, even if it doesn't result in anything super exciting. It's going to take off a remarkable amount of entrances that you're not going to have to worry about right away.
And chat did make the observation that Schulzer could have Herapotted with the hook shot, but I 100% agree with Schulzer's decision not to for two different reasons. One is he only has one bomb, so it's one try, and that would have put him at 0 bombs with no obvious refills available. He found one here, but he didn't know that was here. And the more critical reason is, without either the Hera big key for the big chest or a weapon to kill Moldorm, that's quite a lot of time committed for one single check.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. Especially this early, you don't know if you're going to come across that Hera Small. As god awful as that check is, you were giving an early lamp, so kind of you want to really think about those plays that you typically try to skip because you don't have the resources to complete them. But I know if I get something like that super early, those fire locked areas really start to come into play, and I really start to think about them.
Yeah, obviously the Hera big small key would kind of scream at Hera basement, but in general, if I'm in Schulzer's position, I suspect the main reason I have the lamp is just to bring me up onto this mountain in the first place.
And that's fair.
And we found Ice Palace as well. We found several connectors, Desert and Fairy Ascent. You don't really suspect connectors are going to be very good here, because the main places connectors could take you, now that you already have access to most of the mountain, would be the Dark World, and that's not going to get it done for you.
Yeah, I'm kind of one of those people that check everything before I chase connectors, depending on where they are, just because if I don't have that Moon Pearl, or if I don't have anything, it's so easy to get locked out of places, like even somewhere stupid just because of a glove block or boots block or hammer block. It's a big gamble 5 minutes in, I feel.
I'm going to throw out there that Schulzer made what is to me a very unusual play. He chose not to go through Desert, which is 2 connectors and an item, and instead took the Fairy Ascent connector, took him out of the building near Pod.
God.
Okay, that's great. I'm going to cut off everything I was saying about
Yeah,
Schulzer.
I didn't mean to interrupt there. I just had to. Oh my, got it.
That's spicy. So, you're talking about early lamp. Hey, that's so cool. It lets us get on the mountain. We can do like fire locked Hera if we get the Hera small key. Oh no, we're looking for Castle Tower keys. This lamp is for Castle Tower.
Absolutely. 100% for Castle Tower.
See, we say that, but in all honesty, the mirror opens a lot of stuff, but there's no particular guarantee it's required. Especially with a connector existing to Hera, if you get a hammer and mitts, you can reach that Turtle Rock portal without a mirror.
Yeah, but that's so gross. A mirror is so convenient, especially if that Moon Pearl is going to be buried deep. There we have Hype Cave over on Schulzer's side. Will it be hyped today? Flute, very nice for early navigation. There's Samaria, though. That is pretty interesting and pretty useful.
If your reaction to a flute 7 minutes and 17 seconds into a seed is meh, I don't want to know what you expect Hype Cave to have.
Well, that's fair, but I'm not playing this seed, so I prefer trolley seeds when I commentate them. It's just the a-hole in me.
From a racing perspective, longer seeds can be more comforting because you suspect that you and your opponent will both full clear. Especially if you believe you're the higher execution player, you really don't want the seed to be too nice.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what's so much fun about this tournament is we are in the situation where not only are these players able to navigate very well, but their execution is typically very smooth and flawless. It's just really fun to watch the game played and executed in like a smooth way, unlike me dying 415 times in Thieves Town.
Thieves Town does at least have more enemies than just about everywhere else. Schulzer's about to get... Well, Illus finds the third door to the castle now. Well, Schulzer's about to get the fun news about the mirror. That whole trip up the mountain, it got us a flute, which is probably more of a convenience than a requirement. And it got us the Cane of Samaria, which is a very good item. Illus is going to give us Bomb's Escape. Kind of interesting as well that Illus wants to do Escape as soon as he finds it, even though he only has bombs. Schulzer has a somewhat better weapon in the Cane of Samaria, and he's less interested.
And the hook shot, just the convenience of a stun item early on in Crosskeys, I think is greatly underestimated.
Oh, I guess there's a good point as Schulzer finds his half magic here in the woods that he didn't necessarily know, or he didn't have any magic, so he wasn't able to use his cane. Now when he finds the third door to the castles, he clears out CAC. He's going to be able to grab that and take care of business.
Oh, and we're going to get some knowledge on Hera there if we get a map check from Schulzer. We do know where that location is. We do have the hook shot. And no item to kill Moldorm as of yet, but I'm sure that'll be rectified fairly soon.
It looks like Illus has done pretty well with the bomb drops. The main reason I don't like doing Bomb Escape in Crosskeys isn't really because of the time it takes. It's not that slow. But just early game bombs can be a very big issue in terms of resource management. And Bomb Escape is quite taxing on that supply.
Agree. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be wasting bombs this early on. You do tend to run into a significant amount of bomb shops, but it's just money's kind of low right now, and it just sucks.
Yeah, I guess in Illus's case, it makes a little more sense because he did make that financial investment into the bomb capacity. That can be a little risky if you have an early Zora seed, but the reward usually outweighs the risk in this case.
Yeah, we also have those hoarding crabs spitting out 20 rupees a piece, so I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to farm for the money, should you need it.
Yeah,
Looks
the
like
bush crabs are a huge convenience. You could even grab one on your way to Zora because there's one kind of in the south toward where you would normally fake flipper.
Yeah, definitely a very nice location. So I don't think money is going to be a significant issue for our runners here. We do have Schulzer activating that flute as we see Illus heading back to check our Dark Cross chest, setting up that Death Ward. And just for 20 bucks. So far, Escape not being very exciting, but who knows, our entrances could be rather spicy.
Yeah, you definitely always just want to take care of Dark Cross as it's convenient, though. We've already seen in these brackets once that Dark Cross can really burn you if you put it off. And with the lamp, there's frankly just no reason whatsoever to put it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we have Uncle over at Magic Bat.
So I believe that puts either the Magic Bat or the Lumberjack tree in the pyramid, and the other will be at the Uncle Tunnel.
So we get a shovel off the Uncle. We find Sahashala. Oh, there is a sword. Blue boomerang.
After doing Bomb Escape, it doesn't really matter that much in Illus's position. The sword is just a little bit of an eye roll item.
Yeah. So is the shovel, but he is in a really good spot to kind of go ahead and check that right away.
Yeah, you're definitely pretty happy to see that shovel. And was that both sides of Bumper Cave in CAC?
Yeah, because why not? Hey, we have a small key in the library, so maybe boots could be important. There's that small key to Thieves Town over in the Chicken Hut, my house.
I mean, the boots block the mirror at a minimum.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, hey, bow.
Yeah, the bows doesn't really open much right now, but if we find Pod, we can get 5 items in Logic. That's something that definitely stands out to me with this current kit of items.
Yeah, again, just another thing of convenience, because Schulzer doesn't have that sword yet, so that is at least a permanent item for the most part.
Yeah, and a big question this seed is then, what are the odds we can find every dungeon with no boots and no mirror?
That would be ironic, and I love it.
Well, you got to be thinking that from the perspective of these runners, because that's the same question as, is Castle Tower required?
Yeah, I kind of feel like items like that of huge convenience, more convenience, because we don't know if we need it yet, of course. but knowing where it is and not being able to get it is so grating on my nerves. It just... We are getting a stun item for Illus. Going to pick up that hookshot here soon. We do have 100 rupees hanging out in Cave 45, which has conveniently relocated itself to the Ice Ride Cave.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice connector coming out of that 20 rupee cave, you know, under the rocks. So Schulzer will have no reason to ever come back down here to the Ice Rod Cave area, which is often a very late area to check.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Moon Pearl. All right.
Well, okay, so we've seen all three entrances of of Hyrule Castle of the Desert. We've seen where Fairy Ascent goes, and it just kind of strings you through to East Dark World, which isn't a ton. Well, we have a hook shot, but we don't have Flipper's hammer or glove, so it's not very much access yet. The old man save and quit leads us to Desert Right. We don't know about the back yet. We're definitely thinking about what Dark World we can access with this pearl.
Oh, we got a big key over on the race game.
And I would point out that we've now located Castle Tower. And Kak, of course, has that sword. So the pieces are coming together.
Yeah, I mean, if those keys end up thrown in my face and I have everything I need, I'm definitely going to go ahead and do it just for the convenience of the mirror, if nothing else. Although our connectors really haven't been that convenient where you can kind of route in Dark World and Light World. Shovel just turning up some bombs. Not very exciting.
Yeah, with the mirror being where it is, you're not really thinking of doing the Dark World and the Light World at the same time.
Oh, good thing Schulzer went back. Did you see what was in the Cackwell?
Yeah, just this little item known as Fire Rod.
Was that both of our fire items in there?
It was. Though finding Fire Rod there is a little bit of a heartburn item, to be honest, because we already have Ice Palace. Schulzer's going to be in no hurry to go into Ice with all the access he has, but that's what thing you're thinking about.
Yeah, they are definitely getting access to a lot of things pretty early. With that Moon Pearl, that just kind of opens up everything, especially in Crosskeys, because you never know when you're going to be spit out into the Dark World. So that does open a significant amount of navigation now that you have to kind of take on. There we have the Magic Bat over in Hyrule Castle.
And yet you already see the flute saving an enormous amount of time for Schulzer. Like, it made it very easy for him to check the potion shop entrance he left behind. One of the big arguments I have heard for why you don't check the potion shop early is just because it's so fast to check if you get an early flute. And he was able to get that Fire Rod he left behind without going very far out of his way. Now he's back in Kak, but otherwise he would have to walk from the sanctuary. It's already probably saved him at least a minute, and it's only going to keep saving time.
Oh yeah, the earlier you find that flute just for navigation is just very convenient. Same with, you know, boots. I mean, boots can be required, but the overall just convenience of it makes it worth it as well. Looks like Illus is going to go ahead and grab our green pendant off Moldorm. Does have a sword, is able to complete that. We're going to have to leave behind our Firelock chest as well as our big chest, but this is going to be first blood on Illus's side. Even though not a crystal, this could be important. We do know where Saha is, so it makes even an extra item.
Yeah, that's... The math was different for Illus than it was for Schulzer when he was in here, because Illus does have the sword, so he can kill Moldorm. It's 2 items instead of 1. He knows it's the green pendant, but I mean, at least it's the green one. He might not have done this if it was one of the other pendants. Not that he would know it's one of the other pendants. And yeah, when Moldorm just plays on the left side of the room like this, he's pretty annoying. This is why I, at least, greatly prefer fighting Moldorm 2 to Moldorm 1. no hole in the middle of the room.
Yeah, definitely. I find this mold, and it's kind of once you make that first fall, you just tilt the whole time, and you're just like, oh, he just has his way. Okay, there is a green pendant. Nothing really significant in Hera. We are going to more than likely get to see that turn in rather quickly. Illus going to give another look here at the... oh, there's Hookshot Cave, by the way, on Schulzer's side. So we have another bunch of items coming up. Finding a lot of the big item locations so far.
I mean, we still have both Blind's Basement and Mini Moldorm Cave out at large, as well as Paradox Cave. So there's still quite a few of the big item concentrations out there. Though something that's a little scary for Schulzer is, in the likely event Hookshot Cave as a connector leads to a lot of Dark World. Oh, well, there's a sword, so that kind of negates it. The sword and CAC could be a lot later for him than you would like.
Yeah, Schulzer is kind of with that fluid access, just kind of bouncing around checking entrances, where I feel like Illus is more concentrating on an area, clearing out that, and then doing the connectors.
Top of Spiral is effectively a total dead end of a connector. Schulzer is never going to use that connector again. But yeah, the main reason you really want to have a sword right now, at least in my opinion, is if you get in the Dark World on a long journey and you encounter back a skull, it's really nice to be able to clear it.
Oh my, if only we had that big key to Meyer. It looks like Schulzer is going to take a dip in here. I don't blame him. It's a lot of items. He does have the fire rod, one key. He even has the lamp if he really wants it. Sword, really a lot of items here he can check. Unfortunately, without that big key, we are going to leave behind the big key chest and the boss, obviously. But who knows? This is Crosskeys. Anything can happen. That key could be hanging out right here in Meyer itself.
Yeah, I don't know with how accessible this Meyer is if I would have gone in here. You're one item away from this being a full clear in one go, but it is 6 of 8. And a large percentage of Meyer's time commitment is just kind of locked into going to Vitreous anyway. Vitreous certainly not being the fastest boss with only a fighter sword.
Yeah, I kind of look at Meyer as two separate entities, almost like Desert and Turtle Rock, you know, like the front and then the back.
Yeah, I mean, you do have that whole commitment of Meyer, too, that at least I'm always thinking about, how I don't really want to do that more than I have to. So there's a bit of a balancing act there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind other people double dipping Meyer, but I certainly don't want to be the person that does it. Wow, 2 small Turtle Rock keys already.
And in terms of like how scary the Vitreous fight would be here, though it's academic, my personal viewpoint on it is I mean, you have a bow, so it's not that bad, but it is slow.
Yeah, and I feel like typically runners this early would tend to use bombs to kind of soften up those eyeballs. Schulzer is still at 3, so that's, I mean, not devastating, but kind of low on arrows and bombs, and with fighter sword, that's gonna sting.
Yeah, but if you find the Meyer big key in here just by sheer dumb luck, I don't see any way you don't kill Vitreous right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at this level, you have to. You don't really have a choice. You have to be able to make these low percentage plays and fight the bosses at low percent. Like, you have to, or you lose. That's pretty much how it goes at this point in the tournament.
Yeah, you just don't have a lot of leeway when you're up to this level to make plays on the basis of whether you think you're good enough to do something. It's mostly just based on what you think is optimal.
Exactly.
Schulzer needs to be pretty careful not to get hit again. At 5 hearts, he's mostly safe to finish this out, but one more hit and getting the spike chest begins to get a little dubious.
Oh, I know. That never feels good when you have that chest left in Meyer and it's so dicey and you know you're going to die right before you get it. That's painful. Because the trek in just for that chest is just, you're just not going to do it. There is another heart, so that, oh, just go for it. Okay, small key to Meyer.
Yeah, with Schulzer's health pool, that was pretty safe. He executed it very cleanly as well, which helps. Our green pendant turned into a pod small key. Probably an above average find for the green pendant.
So Meyer just full of freaking keys as well. We are getting a hefty amount of small keys thus far. No big keys yet. We do have one over on the race game, but we don't have it.
Yeah,
Or
Meyer had, what was it, just a GT key, a TR key, and a Meyer key? Not
2 TR keys. Yeah.
Not really the premium keys.
No, I feel like I thought Meyer would have had better stuff in there.
I mean, with a name like Misery Meyer, you really expect it to bring you joy, right?
Absolutely.
I like how both players are nearly simultaneously getting their Master Sword from mirrored locations.
And that stupid shovel that really does nothing. Although, the shovel is pretty convenient when you're low on bombs and arrows. I've seen that shovel bail out people doing the GT climb more times than not having to dig up arrows.
I mean, given how out of the way the Haunted Grove can be, finding the shovel when you're in the CAC region, you're not unhappy about it. It has to be somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a prime location. I mean, I guess pulling it off Stumpy, having the mirror is kind of your best case scenario, but how often does that happen? Looks like
yeah,
Illus
and in this
is...
seed, I don't think we need to worry about having the mirror too early.
Yeah, no, not at all. I was kind of concerned with Ice Rod Cave kind of being something important. Illus is heading over there and does have that flute, so it's definitely going to be a little bit more convenient. Just make a liar out of me. It's fine.
It's possible. I mean, really the main thing is Illus just doesn't want to orphan that big chat, or the 20 rupee entrance, which is kind of why that connector Schulzer found was so good. Because Schulzer was able to clear out the area without going out of his way, and with confidence he wasn't leaving anything behind.
Yeah, exactly. It's just unfortunate that that's where our Moon Pro is. We know that this Meyer dip isn't really going to do anything.
We are nearing the point where we really would like to go to the Dark World. I think Schulzer has, what, just the dam and the mini Moldorm Cave entrance, which I think we know are not relevant connectors. Otherwise, he could go back to the Eastern Dark World if he wants to. I don't think we have a connector to Western Dark World yet.
Not that I've seen.
Yeah, though we do still have the back of the the back of the mountain cave, which could be important here. We do have that early lamp.
Yeah, that's very fair. It could be somewhere very convenient. Bottom of Spiral Cave there at the dam.
I don't know what your feelings are about seeing the bottom of Spiral Cave somewhere like that. It's kind of like, well, the upside is I don't feel pressured to use this as a connector several times in a seed. The downside of this is that this could become a really painful item to get if Spiral Cave top is somewhere bad.
Yeah, getting a look over here at the pod entrance, another connector. I believe we've seen this already from Illus. Could be wrong. Yeah, we did. Okay, never mind.
Well, what that does for you is it increases the expected value of every other connector in the seed.
Boy, that mirror would have been nice there.
Boy, that mirror would have been nice is probably going to be a refrain in this seed.
Yep.
The real bad feeling thing is, like, between glove, hammer, and flippers, that's a lot of possible items that suddenly turn that East Dark World access into nearly full Dark World access. So, it makes sense to me. Schulzer's being really thorough, checking everything he can before going over there, because he doesn't want to go to East Dark World into the pyramid and not be able to hookshot over the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Illus' side, he discovers all of the remarkably low-value small keys in Misery Mire. So it looks like Schulzer was about to go back through that connector, then remembered some piece of business or another he wants to take care of here in CAC. I don't know, has he not done Dark Cross yet? That must be it.
Yeah, no, hasn't done that. Illus did, but Schulzer has not.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
chat's pointing out it is possible for Schulzer to Ancilla fake Flipper to reach most of the Dark World from there. And yeah, that's possible. It's not going to be the most straightforward setup from that location. Probably not something a lot of players would consider. I'm going to guess Schulzer's aware you can do it. I don't know how much you'll have practiced it, because honestly, it's a really obscure trick to do it from that location.
Illus just gave me a small heart attack when he walked into Agina's cave and turned around and walked out. It was, no, go back in.
I mean, his logic was pretty sound, though. It was just, you almost always want to save and quit out of Agina's cave if you can. It's one of the slower caves, so just take care of the other entrance first.
Didn't even think about that. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, part of the privilege we see of the early flute, both players have been taking advantage of it. They're trying to design all their routes to end in slow dead ends where they can just save and quit, flute back somewhere, save and quit, flute back somewhere. We've seen so many more save and quits than you would in a typical seed here.
Yeah, it's also nice with, in some ways, you don't even have to save and quit. You just pull out your flute and go somewhere else instead of ending your route at a dead end.
Here is a spicy and frankly risky play from Schulzer, going into Ice Palace. Now, we can do Icebreaker with our current equipment, but we're not going to have a small key unless we key steal from the sort of lower part of the dungeon.
Yeah,
And
this is
an interesting
play.
Behind. You're going to leave a lot of stuff behind in ice without a hammer, a glove, or a big key. So there's just a lot of decisions to be made. It looks like Schulzer is just going to Icebreaker, get these two chests, and then probably take a death and then go back through ice from the beginning again. I guess it makes sense.
Oh, I blinked and Illus is over at the pod area. That was interesting.
I suspect he went through that Fairy Ascension connector, right?
I did miss that. Huh. I'm wondering why Schulzer wouldn't have just went through and got the spike chest and died on the spikes and then restarted ice. Doesn't have a small key. So
I mean, he can still reach that other chest pretty freely just by hookshotting through that one room. I'm not entirely sure what the best way to route ice with this equipment is. Usually your goal with this equipment is not to be an ice palace.
Agree. I feel like that's why I'm kind of like, what are we doing here?
Pod area had absolutely nothing. I don't think Illus walked over to the pyramid. The item on the pyramid is definitely of high interest, I would say.
Yeah. It makes it even more gross knowing where the mirror is. I feel like Pyramid has become the catfish of Crosskeys.
I will throw out there's another pretty strong play I don't think either runner has made, and that's the Dark World West Death Mountain.
Okay. We got a Glove and Ice Palace. Not bad.
Well, that's access to almost all of Dark World. That is probably what the logic wanted Schulzer to do. So Schulzer is going to feel really good about this Ice Palace dip.
I'm glad to see that because I was getting very, very nervous the more chests he opened. I was like, oh, because this is going to be either a really, really good play or a really costly play.
Yeah. I can just say, I never would have made this play Schulzer made, but it had the potential to pay off handsomely, and it did here.
Yeah, for sure.
And Schulzer has left behind 3 item checks in Ice Palace. The one on the right side that you need the hammer and glove for, the big chest, and the boss. So Schulzer's not going to be worrying about Ice Palace for a good while, most likely.
And that glove really makes you feel better kind of checking things. You do have a couple entrances glove blocked. One that we don't really need to check. Hey, there's Blindset.
Hey, the pod area wasn't
desert.
junk. Illus just wasn't done with it yet.
Hey, a big key. Really? Just a big key to Ganon's Tower? We really need some items to pop up. I mean, we have some good ones, but wow, we need some more stuff.
Hey, big key to Ganon's Tower with the rest of our items is a very fun item.
I mean, at least you're not going to have to isolate the big chest when you dip Ganon's Tower, regardless of which side you do.
I mean, it sets you up for, I think, everyone's favorite side of Ganon's Tower. The top side.
We at least do know that there is an item behind it, being, what was it back there? Is it Lumberjack that's behind? I think so.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting.
Good man, Schulzer, remembering, I got a glove, do back of escape. It's just, it should be automatic.
Wow.
Yeah, back of escape was arguably not that good. Illus got a big key at Desert Palace, which is a pretty interesting item to find here. It does open the Desert Big Chest, which isn't really that fast of a single, but still probably a check Illus is going to want to make sooner rather than later. I will point out another sort of scary thing, though. Illus has still not gone back for his Fire Rod in the well, and he's made some fairly long walks otherwise. It makes me a little concerned whether it slipped his mind.
Yeah, and I think I can barely see his map tracker, but I think it's completely marked off. Like, I can see King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge lit up, but I do not see that drop lit up. So that would be very easy to forget.
Yeah, so far the Fire Rod hasn't been important, but with that GT Big Key, well, looks like Illus is going to get it. This is quite a relief, because with the GT Big Key, another thing you're thinking about is if I find GT, I can do full right side here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I believe I've seen both of them do the bomb jump, but that feels so gross when you're doing it in GT. It just feels like it takes forever, and it's so obnoxiously difficult in some spots. There you go.
Yeah, here we see Schulzer's probably just going to loop through the entire Dark World. This is going to get him his Desert and Ganon's Tower Big Key at a minimum, and probably a lot more stuff that Illus hasn't shown us.
I'm kind of curious about that big key to desert. I kind of want to see what's in that big chest. And it looks like we're going to find out.
Yeah, from Illus's perspective, he's almost out of plays other than going into Ice Palace. I think he's actually down to just this, going into Ice or sequence breaking across the river.
Okay, well, I mean, silvers are pretty awesome. If you're going to get silvers, you want them this early.
Yeah. Silvers are... like, it's hard to be mad about finding them there, but you're not... You're not
what
happy
you want to
because
see
it's sending you
when
to
you're
Ice
still.
Palace.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see when you're looking at a hammerless IP. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Schulzer does have some routing decisions to make here. He actually left behind Dark Flute 5 in the pod entrance in favor of going in this direction, which we know is totally going to pay off. Both those entrances were junk. And in Schulzer's mind, he's probably like, most of the entrances are this way, and if I get a hammer later, I can just Flute to 5, hammer, check those two entrances on a convenient route. Ooh, Schulzer not heading toward Catfish even, just heading straight west.
Yeah, and has that glove, so Catfish was definitely available.
I can understand because you often want to combo Catfish with going to the shopping mall, and I gotta say I love the community naming that region the shopping mall. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, I appreciate that one too.
Hey, the SMZ3 people know it is the way to get into Meridia.
I'll take your word for it, because I know nothing about that.
Oh, there's just 4 connectors between the two games, and the least convenient area in Super Metroid is connected to the shopping mall in this game. That's the really short version of it.
I can appreciate that. I really think it's a little too early to call who's in the lead. I think both runners have done pretty significant things, and we just got to see what else is left here in the world for us. I missed what was
I
on
mean, I am gonna... like, I'm just gonna say it. I think Schulzer is nearly strictly ahead. The only thing Illus has done that Schulzer hasn't is clear Hera, which ultimately just culminates in a pod small key. And pod small keys are nice, but I mean, this is... like, the next progression is most probably in the direction Schulzer is going right now. And he has a decent exploration lead in checking all this out.
Very true. And I feel like execution-wise, they're both kind of very, very close in levels.
Yeah, Illus did route Ice Palace a bit differently. He chose to steal the berry key, and he's just going to Icebreaker and go through this way. It's likely this is a slightly faster ice route than Schulzer used. It's probably not going to make the biggest difference in the world, but always nice to make up a little time like that.
Hey, there's Kastaki.
Oh yeah, that's what we want to see right now. Give us another one, please.
Maybe the boots. Go ahead and put the boots in here too.
Oh, but the boots need to be in the second chest to Castle Tower.
Oh, I like that. Slightly evil.
We have a friendly Skullwoods layout today. Pretty nice, given the fairly lengthy path to reach this region.
Oh, hey, there's T-Rock.
I'm just going to say, I don't see how you don't go to Lava Chest and Chomp Chest in this situation, Schulzer.
Yeah, I was just about to say that was a curious decision there, especially given where the location is.
Also, this Ice Palace dip had to give Illus a lot of heartburn. That glove was in the very last ice chest he checked.
Yeah, like you even have the hook shot, you have the fire rod, you have pretty easy access to both that lava chest and the chain chomps. Oh, there's
that is a quality place for the Skull Big Key. People are always unhappy to see that one, but you're not unhappy to see it in that chest.
Exactly. Well, and it has the flippers in it. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I'm worried about those Turtle Rock chests for Schulzer's sake, because like if the big chest to Turtle Rock is not somewhere easily accessible, that's just kind of creating a lose condition.
Yeah.
Sort of the nature of Crosskeys is it's nearly inevitable there will be at least one, if not several items in very inconvenient locations that are easy to orphan. So you can go faster by skipping things, but if you accumulate lose conditions too much, it becomes mathematically significant after a while.
Well, I mean, and you also already have 2 keys to Turtle Rock. You could even go all the way to the front. So that would be 5 items, not just 2. Yeah,
and of course, that is an
I
absolutely horrible place to return to. So basically, Schulzer is completely betting that he'll be able to do it later more conveniently from the Turtle Rock big chest, which maybe he will be. We don't know where that is, but if it's somewhere awful, then he's just got to hope there's nothing in Chomp Room, honestly. Hey, there's Paradox Cave. I hear this sometimes has value.
Okay, small to Ganon.
Every one of those you find is just helping paint a picture.
Yes,
Ganon's Tower. I mean, honestly, that might be a lot of Schulzer's thinking, and I'm going to guess it could become Illus's thinking. There's a lot of signs suggesting that GT could be loaded this seed, and our goal might just be to find it.
I could also say the same for Turtle Rock with getting 2 keys in 1 dungeon and then finding that entrance and walking back out of it. I'm very upset by this.
Yeah, the difference is, though, Schulzer basically orphaned 2 checks, only one of which is in logic. Ganon's Tower is 27 checks. We can't do the left side right now, but we can do everything else. And we're 1 more key away from more of it going into logic.
Okay, there's Spec Rock.
We've already seen the bottom of this on West Dark Death Mountain, so this is just an item check and turn right back around for Schulzer.
I mean, a bottle with a fairy in it isn't terrible.
I suspect the real reason he's picking it up is just to have a connector to Village of Outcasts from the other side of this. Oh, here's some divergence. Illus is heading toward the Dark World Potion Shop and Catfish.
This makes me feel better. I want to know what's here.
Good man Schulzer throws away that useless fairy. So before you have the mirror, and well, the mirror being behind Aga 1 is not going to be convenient. Fairies are just really annoying because you often want a death warp and they just prevent it. So I can totally see just getting that fairy out of here. You don't have to worry about disposing of it later. So overall, I'd say skipping the catfish route definitely paid off for Schulzer. He ended up missing a 2-item cave in catfish itself, but none of those items were really valuable at all. While on the other side, we did see Spike Cave in the archery minigame. That's going to be a nice last location for someone this seed.
Yeah. Hey, already up to Tempered Sword before an hour? What is this?
Yeah, that's also Tempered Sword with 0 boss clears for Schulzer, and Illus is probably going to have that Tempered Sword with only Moldorm down, so it's going to have a lot of opportunity to save time this seed. We're also pretty much locked into an easy Ganon fight, because we're looking at Tempered with Silvers.
Yeah, for sure. I think both runners are definitely going to end up with silvers. For sure.
I feel like the scenarios Schulzer does not find silvers are the scenarios that Schulzer has a very good run, because it would require a lot of progression to cascade on him very quickly.
Stranger things have happened.
I will say, from runner's perspective, I didn't find silver arrows because I was too busy finding all the items to enter go mode quickly. Is generally not what you consider a negative outcome.
Yeah, definitely not. We have only one big item location left, and that's Mini Moldorm, as far as checks.
Yeah, though, like I said earlier, Ganon's tower is looming large. And
for sure.
With the mirror not being accessible without Aga 1, and we also would need the boots, it's just a huge question this seed whether we can get to Ganon's tower with our current items. If we find something like the mitts, that gets us the Mire region, of course. So another interesting thing we saw is that Super Bunny connector there for Schulzer. It's definitely tempting to take it. See if it puts you in Mire or the Death Mountain floating island.
Speaking of Mire, we find the dam with just a small key for Mire.
Hey, all 3 Mire small keys, the like Turtle Rock small key or whatever was on the left side of Mire is now in Logic. And yeah, this makes sense from Schulzer. He was just finishing up this region. Now he's going to take this connector. This slightly orphans the shopping mall, but it's not too bad because he still has to go back for catfish anyway.
I'm anxious to see if Illus is going to go ahead and do TR here.
I'll just say, if he doesn't, I would be very surprised, and it would tell me that these two know something I don't. Well, Schulzer found one item he wanted to find very badly, and one item he really would have preferred not to see at all.
And I missed both of them.
He found the Eastern Big Key, which is great. As soon as he finds Eastern, he can full clear it. He found the Ice Palace Big Key, which I can't imagine he's going to be in too big of a hurry to explore. Well, Illus thought about it a bit, but is going to head into Turtle Rock. He might have just ducked out because he needed to react to the entrance and he didn't want to get shot by the laser.
There's another small to Turtle Rock in our last
3
5
Turtle Rock
items.
smalls, and we're reaching the point where this vanilla big key chest in Turtle Rock is becoming interesting. But yeah, Mini Moldorm Cave was up here on the summit of East Dark Death Mountain, and it wasn't too great.
There's our second castle tower
wow.
key. I told you that was important.
So
I didn't mean to say that so aggressively.
Oh no, you're fine. Aggression is appreciated in this place. Regardless, we don't have boots. That doesn't open the mirror, but we are boots away from the mirror. We have a lot to think about here. And we have chat calling out for Armos Shake storage. Definitely one of the most popular memes in this tournament that, to my knowledge, has come up 0 times in this tournament. But I don't really suspect that's going to be a thing this seed, for really the one simple reason that we still haven't found Eastern or Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, see, Illus making the play I wanted to see happen here. Because how many times have you played Crosskeys, and doing this to get out the front of T-Rock has been an important connector? And there's the
pretty rarely.
Desert.
Pretty
It's happened
rarely.
more to me than I guess I get it more than average. That came out way wrong. Just ignore it. Just move on. Everybody keep eating.
Hey, we're not going to hate about it.
Wait, what are you?
Yeah, that death, Illus is probably just thinking, you know, that's really slow to go back through there. Whatever, I'll take my Desert Small Key. That's a good item, at least.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, Skull Woods is the blue pendant, so that largely pretends a slower seed.
Kalis about to get their flippers. Just check the back of... Oh man, for God's sake, please.
Now, I did see some speculation. There might have been some cave we've seen that's already it, which I guess I could believe it. There's the Hera big key for Schulzer. Going back to Hera, I would be very tempted.
Yeah, that's... Now you're only leaving behind one check.
And Hera's basically instantly available with...
Oh, well, shit. There's the front of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Hera's instantly available with the flute. It's at the base of West Light Mountain. But yeah, I have to think that there would have to be crazy items firelocked in Turtle Rock for Illus not to get the better of this with that Castle Tower Small Key. Because Illus will find this entrance. But it's an open question when Schulzer is going to get to the middle of Turtle Rock. I don't suspect he's going to go through from here.
Oh my God!
The mirrors in logic. I'm just going to throw it out there. The seed writes itself. The most likely thing to happen is you do Castle Tower, you get the mirror. The mirror leads you to Ganon's Tower. That has the hammer, probably after Ice Armos.
Okay, this is putting Schulzer in a really good spot now.
Yeah, the fact that he's choosing to go forward here is probably going to help him quite a bit. I'm legitimately surprised he's choosing to route Turtle Rock in this way. Oh, Schulzer. That the most orphan chest in the world. This could be a huge problem for Schulzer.
Yep.
Like, he basically needs Turtle Rock Big Chest to be in Waterfall or the shopping mall, or the routing just gets hard for him.
I have such a whirlwind of emotions right now.
Because, yeah, he's definitely going to follow up these boots, check bonk entrances, go back into desert, take care of everything he can there. Of course, he hasn't forgotten this key in the library. A lesser runner might have.
Hey, it's Spot.
Of course, yeah, in Schulzer's mind as well, going back to Hera is 4 items, so there's a lot to think about here. But, like, to me, I think it's just overwhelmingly likely that Clear Aga 1 to get the mirror is what the seed wants him to do.
Hey, there's our first shield. I'm pretty sure Schulzer is going to pick up their silver arrows here.
Yeah, well, Illus is going to get his tempered sword, so we're just going to sort of match equipment. Yeah, Illus is kind of behind in the linear progression here. Gonna have to basically just finish a lot of these Dark World checks that Schulzer already made, but the fact that the boots are on Illus's natural route and the second castle tower key is not on Schulzer's natural route, I'm a little worried for what happens for Schulzer here.
Yeah, that death is interesting and a possibly a very big problem. I feel like given that we already have both Aga Tower keys and the boots and the lamp and everything, that the mirror does seem like it's probably going to be required.
I mean, you just look at the dungeons we haven't found. We haven't found Eastern, Desert Final, Pods, Thieves, or Ganon's Tower. Like,
Yeah.
there's just no way everything you need is available without the mirror, just based on what we've seen and not seen.
Oh, hey.
Well, there's the hammer. That's a rather consequential item. I feel like with the flippers, that's a relatively obvious check to make too.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to lead Schulzer back into Ice Palace to clear that out, which is a pretty zero-cost play. There's just no downside to finishing the dungeon, unless it happens to be the red pendant. But this seed wouldn't troll that badly, right?
Absolutely not.
It's kind of like if you see Magic Bat behind Aga 1, you know it's definitely not required because that would just be mean.
This game is known for being polite.
Hey, I have to correct chat on a point. Schulzer paid those 500 rupees for a piece of information he did not have, and that's information that King Zora isn't progression.
Knowledge is priceless.
In this case, it actually is a well-defined price.
Fair. Fair. So we find the other end of Super Bunny Cave. Illus is about to grab his big key to Eastern and Ice Palace.
Oh man, our friend the Dead Rock always looking to make his contribution to the seed.
Well, and don't forget, we do have that big key to Ice Palace now, so we can actually check the big chest. So that's another item. That's a full clear.
Yeah, I
Schulzer.
see basically no scenario in which Schulzer just doesn't go right back into ice here. It's a dungeon he can full clear. He already knows where 2 of the 3 pendants are, so the odds of this being the 3rd pendant are rather low from his perspective.
Yeah. We do see we need ether for our rock entrance, and we don't have any medallions yet. So that could come into play.
We also, of course, need the mitts, and Illus needs the hammer just so he has a way to get up there, too.
Yeah, Illus just kind of wrapping up some checks we've already seen from Schulzer, but here is some new information. What is behind Hammerlocked Ice Palace?
Yeah, and Illus is... There's no way in his position you don't kill Bothula here. We know this is basically just a waste of time, but it's might as well be dropping the Skullwoods map telling you that this is a pendant.
I know we're missing a significant amount of big keys and small keys, so a pod is still very viable.
I
Not
know
pod.
it's kind of a meme.
Head.
And
Head. Sorry.
yeah, I'm usually not much on the meme team, but this being a ped seed
Never
is
mind.
not out of the question. We have a lot of the ingredients that make that possible.
And early access to a lot of our pendants. There's ether in Ice Palace big chest.
Yeah, I believe with Kana Samaria, 1 ice key and ice big key, this cold stare is fully in logic.
Anything could be a pet. Except the mirror. You know where the mirror is.
Of course, the big mystery there is just the question of what is the 3rd pendant? Because some pendants that are possible would be very low requirement, but if it's something like Palace of Darkness, that's not going to enter logic nearly forever.
I like this play as well. I want to see what is in here, big chest.
Yeah, I think that's very logical. Like, you have the ice big key. The Hera big key. It's the green pendant. This is a fast dungeon. This is just a lot of items in a short amount of time.
A single arrow. But still, it's something that you know if you came in here without the big key and you Herapotted and you beat Moldorm, the odds of you coming back to the big chest before it's one of your last locations is going to be very slim. So I feel like having that knowledge is, I guess, as useful as that single arrow, but to me, it makes me feel better.
It's really good news for Illus, who's in no hurry to come back here.
Yeah, it looked like Eastern and Desert are both crystals. 5-6 crystals. Okay.
Yeah, and we could logically full clear either if we located them, but we have not located either.
So Illus going to go ahead and take care of Ago 1 here. Doesn't have those boots yet, but I'm sure it's not going to be too long. The flipper checks are going to eventually call to them. Hopefully they're not waiting for the mirror so that they can get that small key off Hylia Island.
Yeah, this is a pretty natural play. Of course, part of this play is it does dump you on top of the pyramid. I don't really know that there's anywhere for Illus to go from there that's particularly useful or convenient.
Okay, first chest in Swamp, just 10 sticks. I have seen that be kind of useful every once in a while too, so I like that check.
I mean, if you walk into Swamp with the Dam drained and flippers in hand, there's just no reason not to. It's a fast chest. For all you know, it's vanilla.
There was no reason not to do the lava chest and the chain chomp, so I am not taking anything for granted in this seed. I am still very salty about that. I'm not sure if you could tell.
Personally, there is the question about where the last Turtle Rock small key to put that in logic is. I suspect it's in the shopping mall. That would make the most sense to me.
And I can understand following logic, but I don't feel like either of them have followed key logic thus far in the seed, so skipping those two chests just don't make sense to me.
And yeah, Schulzer with the hammer can maneuver the Dark World far faster and more efficiently now. The hammer is definitely a really big time saver here just for the overworld alone.
Oh yeah, especially with that flute. I'm going to say, I think Titans are going to be required too. I think we're going to need Titans and we're going to need the mirror. I think we're just going to need all of the things. Possibly the book too, because why wouldn't something be on one of the tablets?
Hey, at least we already have Ether.
Fair. Okay, here's our Dark Shopping Mall check.
Yeah, this is by far the most lucrative region in the world left from Schulzer's point of view.
Oh, and we're still missing so many dungeons. Like, this is definitely the most dense place with locations that we can get to at the moment.
If this has Ganon's Tower, you have to start asking a lot of questions about this seed. There's a fortune teller. Who, I have to say, I've always thought the fortune tellers in this game looked a whole lot like the Happy Happiest from Earthbound. I don't know if anyone else shares that point of view.
I love the fortune teller huts. I think they're adorable. They refined Pod, which we are bound to find another dungeon soon. 3 keys, no big keys, so we are going to get some exploration. Have that boast. Don't have to worry about sequence breaking the right side. So we're going to get some checks. I like this.
Looks like Illus is going to route this straight into the shopping mall, which is very logical. Unfortunately, we know this is just keeping him away from his boots and thus his mirror. And clearing as much as he can in Pod without the mirror.
Oh, this is bold.
Yeah, you do not see this chest prioritized by very many runners.
Oh, and it's just 20 rupees. That stings.
I'd say it didn't pay off, but it in fact paid off in an easily measurable way.
20 bucks. That check made my stomach hurt.
That's so scary, though, because you know it's fairly probable at this point this is a crystal. So you probably want to save a small key for the boss. And this puts you in a position. Do you spend your last key to go to the back, potentially expanding your go mode, or do you just leave knowing that the back's not in logic, but enters logic with one more key? Just a very risky play. Oh, no
There
surprise.
it is.
There's the last Turtle Rock small key.
You called it. Burn the witch.
But it is the case. I don't know how much Schulzer really has left other than just heading toward Turtle Rock. And he can just kind of go down from the front. So the lava chest might be more obvious for him than it seems at first. Hey,
Okay,
there's a
Vicky
dungeon
Meyer.
Schulzer can finish. Misery Meyer. In all honesty, with Silver's and Tempered Sword and Lamp and the boots and all that stuff, there's very little reason not to finish Meyer at Schulzer's next save and quit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like Schulzer has been getting piece by piece dungeons that he can clear. Like it was the Hera big key and then, Ice big key. It's kind of like little breadcrumbs. Hey, there's our fourth sword.
Now Illus gets his logical inference. Yeah, like, I agree with the general perspective that it's likely that Schulzer last location's lava chest. I just think it's going to turn out that last locationing it might be earlier than it seems. Because I'm just thinking, like, what options does he have left that are not going to lava chest? He can go back to Spike Cave at the archery minigame. He can clear Misery Meyer, which he likely has to do anyway. And he can go for lava chest. I can't think of another play he has available to him very easily.
Yeah, unless he pulls another big key like Pod or Thieves Town. Although we haven't found Thieves Town yet.
Yeah, the Pod big key wouldn't even put anything into logic. The Turtle Rock big key would be awfully spicy because that would let us go to Laser Bridge.
I just can't believe Turtle Rock has items that both of these runners need, and they both died before they could get them. And they left.
In fairness, Schulzer's death was obviously on purpose. Illus's death was not on purpose.
Has either of them checked Hobo yet, either? I don't believe so.
I think
This might be the check for Illus. Oh my god, please do the thing. You're not doing the thing. You're going in Misery Meyer.
I don't blame him at all for this decision. It's a dungeon that is probably a crystal you can full clear. It's the only item that would make this faster is the boots, and for all you know, the boots are in here.
Fair.
But yeah, with gold sword, silver arrows, it's your choice of how you want this boss to melt.
Yeah, it's kind of taken like all of the execution out of the game now when you're freaking overloaded with things.
Did Schulzer go and get this big chest? I don't
He
think
did.
he did.
He did.
Oh, well. Misery Mire map is a really funny item to be in that chest anyway, I gotta say. You could leave the dungeon and go to the Dark World and learn whether you really want to kill Vitreous. But no one's gonna do that.
The boots are in the front of T-Rock. And Illus died in the spike room before getting to those other two chests. I just read that.
And if you're kind of trying to gauge who's ahead or behind in this race, the sort of asymmetries, Illus has beat Naga 1, which at this point we heavily suspect is required. Schulzer's pulled the boots out of the front of Turtle Rock, though it's very likely they're in the location that is the very next check for Illus. And his next check right after that's the waterfall, which has the hammer. Schulzer does have Cold Stare defeated and is clear on Ice Palace, which is where that Ether medallion is. And Ether is not as trivial as it would usually be, because we know that's the Turtle Rock medallion.
Another small pod.
Hey, for there being 6 of those out there, it's often one of your favorite keys to find.
I'm never bitter when I find a pod small. But yeah, Meyer keeping up with the small key trend. Five small keys at Misery Mire.
Well, Schulzer fluted away, so he's not going to go straight to his Castle Tower small key. Oh, he's going to hammer to the summit of Light Mountain. That's pretty smart. This is 3 entrances that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, true. And without that key, still doesn't have access to the mirror, so this makes sense. Okay, Illus doing the thing. Thank you. Nope. Nope.
I mean, checking Hobo, like, why wouldn't you do this? You're cursed by knowledge, Jinxie.
I know, and that's what it is. Like, I understand it's just not what I want him to be doing. Like, I get it, but I don't want it. Mail upgrade on the floating island.
I have a strong suspicion we are never going to see that picked up.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, this is going to be rapid fire value for Illus. He's going to get his boots and his hammer back to back unless he does something foolish.
Ooh, Magic Hut there, but what we found Sick Kid pretty early, and I don't believe. Hey, there's finally the backup old man. I don't think we've. Has anybody checked Sick Kid? We found that like relatively early.
Has anyone checked Sick Kid? That's a good point.
I don't think so, and we have 3 bottles. Well, access to 3 bottles.
That might be what Schulzer is doing right now, actually.
This is where Illus needs to go, my King Friday.
Whereas Illus will be a little more efficient here because he'll be able to check Sick Kid and grab the mirror all in one move.
It's like they can hear me. I swear to God, I love it.
The only scary part is, does Illus go straight for the mirror or does he finish the Zora route? He needs to finish the Zora route because that's where the hammer is.
Yeah. I feel like you do this. Yeah.
And yeah, Illus has to feel way behind finding these boots there. But in all honesty, given where the hammer is, that death might have actually saved him time. Because if he had these boots when he was supposed to, instead of taking that bad death, he probably would have been drawn into mirror checks and away from Zora River and would have found Hammer much later than he's finding it here. I think having Hammer earlier is probably going to save more time than having Boots earlier would have saved.
Oh my gosh. Schulzer is doing the thing. This is amazing. Like, I feel like we have mentally willed both of these runners to do the things we want them to do.
I think Schulzer was down to this or Spike Cave, and
Where are you going? Okay, no, you're going right. You're doing good. You got this. Yeah, I do think. Well, yeah, because we don't have mitts to do any of like the smith or any of that stuff. So yeah, this makes sense. Last location, I believe.
So I do think we can say Illus has a little bit of a lead. It's really just the difference between the Ice Palace clear and the Castle Tower clear. And we now have a fair degree of confidence both plays are required.
I want to see GT. I'm tired of not having anything to write down. We are missing so many items, and it's hurting my soul.
Hey, let's not forget about Eastern Palace and Back of Desert, both of which are dungeons we can instantly clear when we find them, and know we get crystals from them.
Yeah, but I don't want it to be over that fast. There's the mirror. And so Schulzer are about to go take care of Aga to grab their mirror, I believe, because they have nothing else they can do.
So, the other sort of remaining question is, what is the last pendant? One possible explanation for this seed is the last pendant is just Thieves Town and it's in the Ganon's Tower entrance.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I don't think we're going to get that lucky. I don't think our runners are going to get that lucky, but it could happen. I mean, we don't have a connector to the Mire area, and I feel like we have some interesting things over there.
I'm a little surprised Illus didn't go straight for that small key on the Hylia Island. But yeah, Mimic Cave makes sense too.
It definitely looks like they're just cleaning up everything they left before kind of going on to more stuff. Check that dam item to get that big key. To Hera, doing Mimic Cave. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Spike Cave, honestly, as well, even though it's gross. It's in a gross location.
Going back to Ice Palace would make some degree of sense here, but I don't feel like when you just had this much access open up that you're going to be in a rush to do that. Because Illus would really like to know what the last pendant is. For all he knows, we know it's not, but for all he knows, it's Ice Palace.
Oh, I forgot about the top of the castle. Okay, I like this play. I like this. Let's see what that mirror blocked.
This is the most ordinary, obscure thing you can do in Crosskeys. Use the Aga 1 portal to go to the pyramid quickly. Like, think about it. When's the last time in a Crosskeys race you saw someone do that?
I don't know. It's been a bit. Hey, there's desert.
And that's a double relief because the main reason you wouldn't do this is if you wanted to combine it with returning the super bomb, and now we know you can't do that. We're actually not super far from go mode, pretty much no matter what go mode is. The only dungeon we require multiple items for at this point is Turtle Rock. I guess we effectively might require multiple items for Thieves Town because it's entirely possible that it's mitts locked.
Wonder if mitts fall right here in desert. No, the red boomerang
Almost
does.
as good, the red boomerang.
Yeah. Can't complain. I think we're finding Ganon's tower up here.
What Illus would like to find up here is Eastern Palace. Oh, look, Swamp's the red pendant. So Schulzer has full pendant crystal knowledge. So for our go mode, we at a minimum need the Thieves Town big key, the Turtle Rock big key, and the Pod big key, and the Ice Rod. We might need mitts.
Or another medallion.
Swamp Small is the one item we don't necessarily need because Swamp is the red pendant. Granted, it's not unthinkable one of the items we're looking for is in Swamp Palace, but I wouldn't be immediately suspecting Swamp when Ganon's tower is still at large.
How are we finding so many useless entrances?
These
I feel like
runners
you
are
added
literally
extra.
demonstrating to you how they are doing it.
I feel like you added extra useless entrances in Crosskeys. Okay, there's Thieves Town. So mirror 100% required.
I think we knew that just by elimination at this point. Well, we knew that when we found Desert.
Oh, for
We saw
sure.
there wasn't a connector up there, but we also, I think, knew it by elimination. I think between both runners, we'd seen everything that wasn't mirror locked.
Heyo. Now we're cooking, because that's our mitts.
Yeah, that gets us access to the whole Mire region and the desert stuff you can mirror to, so we almost certainly can find Ganon's tower now. And with how many items we're missing, it seems unlikely to me that there is no value in Ganon's tower.
Yeah, I definitely think Schulzer got very lucky with how required the mirror is. And so got really last location fairly quickly.
I do like this routing from Illus, just taking care of Spiral Cave now. There's never going to be another convenient time to do this. And honestly, with the mids, you just do this, then you flute to 6, check out the Mire region. You might want to prioritize the race game because we know there's a big key there. Actually, yeah, you definitely prioritize the race game because we know there's a big key there, and most of the items we still need are big keys.
Yep. The swamp. Are you serious?
Hey, with that find, they now know every big key they find from here on out is going to be important.
Process of elimination.
Well, here's Spike Cave. We know this cave's never important, right?
Never once in the history of Rando.
I mean, it makes sense it was only 300 rupees. We already have the fire rod. That's pretty much the only item that can be in there, right?
Exactly. Oh, so many things are open now. We have the smith, we have the purple chest, we have the mire area, which I'm pretty sure we're going to see fairly soon.
Yeah, Illus is probably going to be a little sad over this being the big key to Swamp Palace, but it's funny.
We don't necessarily need all the big keys. We do know that the big chest in Ice Palace was Ether, which opens up Turtle Rock, but the big key of Swamp could be absolutely nothing. We technically don't need it. We didn't really need the big key. Well, we did need the big key of Skullwoods, because that was the flippers, but at any rate.
Oh man, Illus not taking this connector. Not going to find his way to that middle bridge on Turtle Rock. It turns out that the entrances that gates are nothing useful, but he doesn't know that.
Speaking of TR Bridge, we still haven't found Laser Bridge.
Have we seen every must connect? I think we might have.
I believe we have. So I'm assuming over in the Mire entrance, we could possibly find 2 freaking TR entrances. We have not seen the big chest entrance or Laser Bridge. We're still missing Eastern Palace, Ganon's Tower. We're missing a lot of things considering we're an hour and 34 minutes into this seed.
I still think this whole seed story has to be just it's a Ganon's Tower hunt. It makes too much sense. Though, from Illus's perspective, he still only has 1 GT small key. Schulzer has 2, so it's a little more suspicious, but the GT small keys are definitely a bit of a mystery. Though there is still that unknown small key on the Hylia Island that neither player has checked.
Illus making me wait from the Mire entrance. I'm very impatient. I don't like it.
I mean, purple chest and taking care of all the entrances in the Village of Outcast area, it's reasonable.
Oh, it's reasonable. I just don't like it. Hey, powder.
Could you imagine having a sequential fetch quest be required?
That'd be funny.
This is
interesting.
I don't understand this decision. Why would you go back for Hera Big Chest when you have the whole Mire region available to you and you're hunting GT?
Well, because how many races have been decided by a last location Hera? Am I right?
I guess the argument here could be that he's heading up the mountain for Ice Palace anyway, and this is just on the way to Ice. And here Schulzer is going to get his mitts, which is pretty much the last major piece that Illus has done that Schulzer had not. So these 2 runners are about neck and neck. I think Illus has done a little bit more checking with the mirror, but not that much more checking. But Schulzer has ice already done while Illus is just starting it.
I mean, I suppose it makes sense if you go into go mode while you're clearing dungeons. It would definitely save you a Ganon's trip.
In this position as Illus, I think you have to feel really tempted to go to the Turtle Rock entrance after you find Ether in this big chest.
Yeah.
And you see both runners at 15 hearts, a good sign. They've checked almost all of the same things.
Okay, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, I think it's very likely we're going to find Ganon's Tower here. And honestly, pretty likely we find Eastern as well. Well, there's that Turtle Rock Big Chest entrance. Definitely interesting to know it's there, but not immediately helpful.
That's it. All of the
So-
things are in Ganon's Tower. That's it. It just has to be.
So Quake to enter the Mire entrance, definitely worth keeping in mind. Like, at this point, something being behind that Quake or being behind Pyramid Fairy isn't unlikely.
What in the world is this mire?
Illus did not go to the vanilla Turtle Rock entrance here.
Getting that small key, perhaps? There's GT. All right.
Okay, so here is the question of the ages. Where is Eastern Palace? I think it's down to only 3 entrances between both runners. The Mire entrance, the TR entrance, or the Pyramid Fairy.
There's a small GT on the right.
Actually, no, Eastern can't be the Pyramid Fairy. It's a 5/6 crystal. So it's a 50-50. Either we can get to it in the TR entrance, or we need to find Quake. Granted, it is likely, to say the least, that Quake is just here in Ganon's Tower, especially with that GT small key being on that island, which that honestly seemed like the most likely thing for it to be. And oh no, we have one more entrance, the Ice Palace entrance, a
Yes.
easily forgotten entrance.
There it is.
That's a big deal. So the good thing for Illus here is if there's a valuable progression item in Eastern and everything else is in GT, he'll know when he's hit go mode. Schulzer will not have that luxury.
Yeah, that is interesting indeed. There's a big key to Turtle Rock.
That was one of the ones we needed.
I'm just gonna do a mirror here and go ahead and do full left. I like it. Hey, another small key. There's our Bugnet in Eastern. Small key to pod.
I actually think both runners have every non-required big key at this point, so we know for sure if either runner sees a big key, it's important. Like that big key to Thieves Town in
Nice.
Eastern. Man, we just need the pod big key and the ice rod. Could you imagine a run of A Link to the Past randomizer coming down to who can locate the ice rod?
Never seen that before.
It's probably unprecedented. And if you're both these runners, well, especially if you're Schulzer, who's done a map check, you don't want to see the Swamp Small Key. If you're Illus, you might think you want to see it, but you really don't.
I mean, we may as well. We've seen everything else. Oh, and Schulzer's going to be able to go ahead and clean up T-Rock here right out of Ganon's tower if he doesn't choose to climb. I mean, he could climb. We don't know. Stranger things have happened. I don't see him climbing, gathering he just got that big key to TR, but who knows?
That Turtle Rock big key is out of logic without the last GT small key, but I can't imagine he's going to get too hung up on that.
We know where it is, and it is accessible. We have all 4. And there's the book.
Yeah, if I were in Schulzer's position, I probably would not climb here, but it's not insubstantial. Well, the odds, I should say, are not insubstantial that climbing is required. On Illus's side, I don't see how he can possibly make any other play but go straight back to Thieves Town.
Yeah. Hey, there's Bombos.
You know what that Bombos does for us?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
But I'd like to know all of the things.
And yeah, Schulzer's going to go straight down to Laser Bridge. I think this is a... Or... Oh no, he's just getting magic. I thought he was going to use the connector to ped check here.
I was getting so upset. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, why are you doing this to me?
I mean, having the option to check 6 items and instead choosing to ped check is a very for the people move. You got to give him that.
Yeah, that's fair. 100% fair. Now I'm upset he didn't. Way to go.
Yeah, and it's kind of a big deal whether there's further progression here in the back of Thieves Town. Because this is sort of a thread that Schulzer's not going to pull particularly quickly, even though this is a very required sequence.
I don't know why I was so excited for him to go to T-Rock and we still don't have the ice ride. He can't finish this. Although we can find out where the entrance is. And we can check Laser Bridge.
Yeah,
which
Laser
this is either going to
Bridge
pop
is
out at
so
Meyer or T-Rock. Oh! Oh no.
I mean, it's pretty likely with that Swamp Small Key being there that either the Pod Big Key or the Ice Rod are just in Swamp Palace. The big question is whether they're both in Swamp Palace.
Wait, did he not check that entrance?
Which entrance?
The entrance on the top of Bumper Cave.
Oh, he didn't.
Yeah, because he came out of Bumper Cave. He did. Okay. Okay. Because I must have blacked out or something. Oh, I was looking to see what Illus was getting, and I was like, wait, did he just? No, he didn't. Hey, Smadahara.
Hera Small Key, that's never a significant item.
Never, ever. Just ignore the fact that you completely have it. And our last meal upgrade.
So, assuming that we also don't get a progression item from Blind, this was fairly good news for Schulzer that there was nothing of significance here. Because, like, one of Schulzer's biggest lose conditions would be there's a progression item in here. Schulzer ends up doing Swamp first and does a lot more of Swamp than Illus because he doesn't know he's in go mode.
I still feel like we're going to see Swamp.
Oh, we totally are, but it's a big deal if one player finds go mode halfway through Swamp and is able to hit mirror and the other has to finish.
Very true.
But yeah, Thieves was nothing but a crystal. No real downside for Illus getting it done, but not a lot of obvious upside either.
Okay, so Ether Tablet and Bombos Tablet and Ped are our last 3 item locations outside of dungeons.
And I think on Illus's side, he hasn't done Spike Cave yet. I think Schulzer has done all of those locations.
Yes. Oh, we haven't checked Magic Bat either, and Illus did get that powder.
So there's a lot of calls for Illus to map check, and it's annoying that he hasn't, but what benefit would a map check present to him right now? He doesn't have the items to beat any of the dungeons he hasn't done yet.
Gonna find GT, so going to get... Nope. Yep. It's okay. Everything's fine.
Schulzer's about to show us this Turtle Rock entrance, one of our remaining hanging threads.
Hey, I don't think it can be anything. Yeah, Bombos and Pet are the only things that we have not checked item-wise. I could be a dirty liar. It could be the bomb shop. That's so stupid.
But if there's, like, are you actually tracking which single item caves there have been found, and you do know that all of them have been found?
Yeah, of course.
Well, in that case, that bomb shop isn't too exciting because we know there's nothing in Pyramid Fairy. Okay, Schulzer's gonna find Eastern Palace here, get a crystal, get his Stevestown big key. The real fundamental choice here is going to be between doing Swamp Palace and climbing GT. I feel like Schulzer probably goes in full clear Swamp next. With Illus already in GT, he might be more tempted to climb. It's going to be really funny to me if the real solution to everything is just the Bombos monolith. the location everyone is thinking about and rooting for the least.
The seed has been very breadcrumby.
Oh, you shouldn't call the seed crummy. You'll hurt its feelings.
Like, it's just been giving us like little specks and pieces. Just to go and do more specks and pieces.
I mean, what this seed really is just... It's not a seed that's actually forcing that many difficult decisions on our runners so far, but it's just making them do everything.
Exactly, and two of the things, like the boots and that castle tower key, has been out of circumstance, not out of, like, bizarre placement.
And I mean, the way it worked out, like, they both lost a little time versus what they could have done on it, but I don't think it was likely either was going to get to skip much if they'd routed differently.
True.
Of course, Illus might be tempted to do exactly what Schulzer did and go down to Laser Bridge.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the most logical thing.
But
I kind of want to see a climb.
Remembering that Illus won't have the Swamp Small Key here as well, like, because that's on Laser Bridge. I don't know, like, the climb's got to be tempting, especially because you're missing 2 crystals, you're nearly 2 hours in. You have to feel like you haven't been hitting the logic as cleanly as you could. We know it's super close, but you might be feeling a little desperate if you're either of these runners.
Yeah, I feel like in this tournament, if it's going towards 2 hours and you still have items left to find, that you're in panic mode.
But yeah, GT Climb's definitely a win or lose play here for Illus, because if he GT climbs and it's important, that puts him in the driver's seat. If he GT climbs and it's nothing, it's very hard to see him winning this race. Because I think from Schulzer's perspective, inevitably the next big play he's going to make, like obviously his next play is clearing out of Thieves Town. There's no downside to it. But after that, he probably goes into Swamp.
Yeah, that's a tough call. Do you go? Well, I think you need to go and do Turtle Rock. First of all, find out where the bridge is, and then secondly, Swamp, or you climb. I mean, none of the options are really that palatable.
Illus is just not map checking. Map checks are for suckers, right?
I mean, maps are important, knowing your crystals and dungeons, but how many times have you not div dependent in Crosskeys? Unless it's at Ganon's Tower or somewhere unreasonable that you can't get to.
Quite a few.
That's different. We're normal folk. The normal folk do it, not the elite.
I mean, you tend to get pretty good times and you just get to not do a pendant dungeon or two.
I can appreciate that, but I still don't do it. I mean, I'll make an honest effort not to, but typically, normal folk don't exist. That's fair. I don't think Illus has anything else to do but swamp, honestly.
GT climb, the monoliths, the turning in that powder.
I love when you say monolith. I just love it.
It's what they are.
No, I'm not being facetious. It makes me happy. I like the word. I appreciate you, sir.
Well, thank you, Jinxie. I wonder, I mean, Illus probably appreciates that Swamp Small Key because he thinks, man, that's probably a crystal, right? It's a 2 out of 3.
I hope he checks bombos so I can just know what it is. I like filling out my trackers completely.
Yeah, as much as we've been making fun of Illus for not map checking, it's entirely possible that we just missed it. Oh no, there he goes. Now he knows it's a pendant. I guess that map check was important because if this was a crystal and he finds either the pod big key or the ice rod in here, knowing he's in go mode and can skip the rest of the checks would be a big thing.
How do we only have one shield?
Yeah, I am worried about these runners' ability to handle the Ganon fight with the gold sword, silver arrows, but no mirror shield. It could be difficult.
Sending tots in pairs.
So Schulzer's about to go get his powder. I wonder if he'll consider turning it in.
Here's a small ice.
I'm kind of surprised Illus didn't go straight down the left side of Swamp here. 2 items from go mode, it feels unlikely you skip it, right?
Yeah, I feel that as well. Hey, there's a shield. It's fine.
You know how much I was hoping the other shield would be right next to it?
Do you know how happy that would have made me?
Oh, the Bombos monolith. That's another rather large check at this point. Like, this is honestly probably last location for Illus.
What if it's Ped?
With that, we just learned that Illus is probably not getting 20 hearts. You say, what if it's Ped? Honestly, Illus probably checks Ped before Bombos Monolith. He's going to have all the pendants.
Yeah. Oh my god, we have Hera Basement too. We have Hera Basement. Never mind.
Well, there's Ice Rod. Where is Pod Big Key is our question. It's not on Magic Bat. Magic Bat would be a real feels bad location for Pod Big Key for Illus.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that's not go mode yet.
So, Illus is gonna kill Trinex Unless Trinex drops the pod big key, though. It's not obvious where he goes next. He might climb. Well, no, he pulls Ped before climbing, for sure. You don't get all 3 pendants and then climb GT before pulling the pedestal. It would honestly be pretty great if Trinex had the pod big key, because there has been a lot of value in Turtle Rock today.
Yeah, for sure. Interested to see if Schulzer is going to do left.
That's going to be a big moment, because if Schulzer does left and the pod big key's over there, I feel it's basically inevitable that Schulzer will win the race. On the other hand, Illus does have just a little bit of extra time here in terms of the linear progression of the seeds. So I feel like his position is pretty good otherwise.
Very nice Trinex fight. There's our last shield. Happy day.
I feel like you probably pull Ped here, right?
I mean, I feel like we've made assumptions this entire race and we've never gotten what we've assumed. So, yeah, no, he's going to climb.
I just can't imagine having 3 pendants in my bag, not knowing what's on pedestal. Even having the flute to go there relatively quickly and climbing GT immediately. But apparently, Illus can't imagine doing that. Like, in fairness, this is probably correct, but ouch. Oh, did he skip Tile Room?
Must have. So it wasn't right side swamp. Left side swamp. Was the right side. No, this back. Everything's fine. It's been a long seed, okay?
Well, mathematically, climb is probably correct here, but man,
it's correct till it's not. It's correct until it's Hera basement.
This is potentially disastrous for Illus if climb is not the answer. Like, if it's actually on Ped, then Schulzer is going to win this race.
Gold sword makes Argus so nice.
Because, yeah, like, Schulzer's only behind right now a Trinex clear, and he's checked a lot of spots that Illus is left hanging. So at this point, if it's up here, then Illus just never checks those spots. If it's not, then it's likely Schulzer finishes all of his non-climb stuff before coming back here. And that's gonna catch him up and even propel him ahead.
We don't need the pyramid entrance. We have checked all item locations. All item locations have been found.
Yeah, and here Schulzer's just going to kill Trinex. It's completely rational. There's basically no justification for doing anything else but this, I think.
Very welcome, Alizoon. You know I don't come without receipts. Pod Big on Ped calling it. I'm calling Ped. I'm calling Pod Big in Hera Basement.
I mean, are we down to Ped, Hera Basement, and these 4 chests at the top of GT, or behind Aga 2 between both runners?
Yep.
So yeah, it's a 5 out of 7 that Illus is going to win this race by finding Pod Big Key in this direction. Okay, we're down to a 3 out of 5.
Oh my god.
50-50.
And how are we still missing, like, Quake and Mushroom and Cave? Oh, there's Mushroom.
Still 50-50, just with an extra layer. But that's actually a big thing, because that might not be the first thing Illus checks. He might, like, turn in powder, check monoliths, all that stuff that we know it's all a waste of time, because Schulzer's done it all already. I mean, Quake is probably going to be dropped by, like, Helmassar King, right?
Yeah, more than likely. But we're still, like all these checks, and we still are missing a Sewers Key, the Cave, Quake. I think that's it. I think we have all the other keys. Yeah. No, are we missing an Ice Palace key? Maybe not. No.
No, we have it. We have a lot of stuff.
Oh, this is it.
This is a big moment in this race. I legitimately, like...
Put your book away and just pull it. Oh my god.
Well, that check certainly did shake the seat up.
There's Sewers Key.
Okay, so... we're at a 50-50. It's Hera Basement or at the Potion Shop. If it's at the Potion Shop, Illus nearly inevitably wins. Even if it's not, Schulzer is going to climb. I think Schulzer had to go to Hera Basement to have a chance to win this race at this point. Of course, Schulzer doesn't seem to know, and I wouldn't have known either, so this is absolutely no criticism, that there are no item caves left. Checking the mire entrance, it makes a lot of sense. Yep, here comes the mushroom check. If this isn't it, we know it's in Hera Basement. And there's no way Illus doesn't do Hera Basement before going back to Left Side Swamp, because he has to know Schulzer probably would do Left Side Swamp when he was in there. So you just have to figure that you've already lost if Left Side Swamp is the answer, right?
Oh, for sure.
Also, neither player used their Mirror Shield to more efficiently clear those 2 Mimic rooms in the GT climb. That makes me just a little bit sad.
I know, no respect for the shield.
It's like one of the only places in the game that's actually a good item. And yep, there it is. So, as soon as Illus started climbing, Schulzer's been drawing dead. We just didn't know it yet. That's pretty much GG. There's just no way to catch up from this position.
So, if my tracking is completely correct, Helma should drop the cape, or it's in the big chest, and we'll never know.
Or I feel like the Hera Basement, right?
Yeah. There's only 3 places that the cape can be, and it's going to drive me nuts if it does not drop off of Helma. I'm just going to write something down if it doesn't come off Helma.
So in terms of checks that Schulzer made and Illus didn't, it's both monoliths and Left Side Swamp, and that's it, right?
Well, the bomb shot, but we know there's nothing behind that.
Yeah, and he checked. Yeah, he checked the Turtle Rock and Mire entrances as well. Oh yeah, he checked the Pod Vanilla Big Key Chest. Also, a location we didn't see Hellway from either player.
You're right. Yeah. Illus is still missing 4 checks. Wow. And that is something I didn't think of. Like, they never came back to check that. Wow.
I mean, that was
bold.
A place you were going to be in no hurry to go back to check.
Fair, but I probably would have checked it before I climbed GT, which would have been wrong, but that's why I'm not in the tournament. You have the Mirror Shield, honey.
Yeah, I would always climb GT before coming back to the shopping mall for a single isolated check. In Illus's case, where it's 2 checks, I would probably be a little more tempted.
I was thinking that Pod was in Light World shopping mall in Ice Rod Cave. That's why. Yeah, that definitely makes more sense. Why am I Miss Girl now? I like it. Just don't call me ma'am. I will shut this entire restream down.
You're not a fan of being called ma'am?
No, I'm not at the age where it's appropriate to call me ma'am, even though I am at the age where it's appropriate to call me ma'am. I just don't like it.
I mean, I don't know. I've always liked being called sir, so...
I do call you sir. I do call men sir. It's just something about man. And it all stems back to when I was a manager when I was in college. And since this is CSR, I can tell this story. And this lady came up to my friend Hope, and she's like, "How can I help you, ma'am?" And she goes, "Don't ma'am me, honey." And Hope went, "Well, all right, bitch," because Hope's from South Carolina. She has that awesome drawl. And I died laughing and thought it was the greatest thing ever. So that's my thing. I don't like to be called ma'am, and it all stems back to that moment.
I mean, that is a great story, but... I don't know. I guess some people think it makes them feel old, but it's just people being polite.
Oh my gosh, when little kids call me ma'am, though, I think it's hysterical because I'm like, oh my gosh, when I was your age, I thought my parents were ancient at this age. And at my age, now I'm 37, I feel like I don't have my shit together like I probably should. I don't understand why I'm allowed to keep my children because I don't feel I'm a very responsible adult. But I mean, they're still alive at, 15 and 8, so I feel like we're doing okay.
I mean, when I worked
37 is mammable.
I mean, when I worked in the service industry, if you were female, you were getting mammed. I didn't care if you were 8.
I call every, like, I use ma'am, like, all the time. It's just something that I don't feel like a ma'am because I feel like I'm way too immature to be a ma'am. Okay, so, I mean, Schulzer is turning in that mushroom, so definitely going to hit go mode very, very soon. So it's still a very, very close race.
Yeah, Schulzer's just going to be a couple minutes behind. It's pretty close to the sum time of the extra check Schulzer did over Illus. Illus might be ahead a little more than that, but if it is, it's not much.
No, I do think saying ma'am is a very respectful term. I just like to be a jerk sometimes.
Illus doing his best to throw this away in the Ganon fight, but managing to not fall.
But yeah, guys, sit tight. We have another race starting here at 5 p.m. We'll be back with what is it? Goomba and I'm blank.
Lin.
Yep. Yeah, Goomba and Lin coming here in like 40-ish minutes. GG's to Illus.
That was a very close, very competitive race.
It was a very interesting race. The seed was very interesting, and I loved it.
Linear is a word for this seed.
Yeah.
Like, you had to clear Pendant Swamp, you had to climb GT. You were doing basically everything. Like,
Yeah,
Illus gained a
definitely.
little time from skipping the monoliths and left side swamp, but that's... You weren't skipping much more than that.
For the sake of my tracking sheet, we are saying that the cape was in pod. Nobody better argue.
Para basement.
Don't you dare, sir.
You were so excited about Hera Basement earlier.
I really was, and I'm telling you, I am very disappointed that that key was not in there. Because, like I said, 5 minutes into the game, if progression is in Hera Basement, that is going to be a last location. And I think Illus even knew that too, because went back to check that Hera big chest, knowing like how many times has Hera burned somebody.
Yeah, it is actually a point. Schulzer also pulled the pedestal and opened the Mire and TR entrances. If you add all that time together, that Illus probably... Like, that's the difference right there. But if Illus tracked all the entrances and knew that there were no item caves remaining, then, you know, that's just an upside of more thorough tracking.
That's why I keep track of all of our item locations, just so I know what we have left.
Yeah, it's... When you're actually playing the game, and, you know, you have both hands on a controller for most of the time, there's really a trade-off there, where the more thorough you are with tracking, the more you fumble around while trying to fool with trackers or write stuff down. So, you know, upsides and downsides. But we're joined by Illus. GG.
GG.
So that was a seed that could be best described as linear.
Oh yeah, throughout the mid game, it was like you had to basically follow, I don't know, some certain progression items here, then get your gloves in Ice Palace so that you can go a whole dark world loop around, and it felt really stupid.
So, because I think everyone in Twitch chat loves Schadenfreude, I'm going to ask you, what was your feeling when you found the boots?
I felt awful. Oh man, I felt really awful. Like I obviously wanted to go to the front of TR after chain jump room, and that stupid laser eye behaved somehow weirdly, and so I died and didn't pick up the roller room chests. And yeah, I don't know. I felt very rushed and pressured afterwards, even though it might not have been that much of a time loss regardless.
It honestly, I was thinking about it at the time. It was possibly a time gain for you. It depends on what you would have done. If you had boots when you were supposed to have boots, would you have prioritized Zora River or mirror checks?
I actually can't tell, but I have been definitely planning on going to a Zora area regardless. Maybe either after or before Aga. I was pretty sure I was going to do that. Wait, what was in the Zora area again?
The hammer.
Oh, right. Yeah, that could have gone bad, but I'm pretty sure I wanted to check that area.
Yeah, the whole question there really was, you save time with that death if it resulted in you finding hammer faster. You lost time if you would have just gone there anyway pretty quickly.
But yeah, as I said, I felt rushed. I tried to snipe some potential one-offs like Hera Big Chest or, I don't know, Swamp Palace First Chest, stuff like that. But I didn't want to go through with it. That kind of playstyle made me feel uncomfortable, so I kind of went back to what I'm used to doing, like prioritizing item density and maybe skipping stuff here and there if I feel that something has to be somewhere. For example, in this case, I skipped left side swamp in favor of the top of GT, and it worked out, luckily.
And Schulzer has finished in the middle of all this. Very close race. In terms of what the two of you checked, one of you did, one of you didn't. I think Schulzer checked strictly more than you. Schulzer did do left side swamp. He checked both monoliths. He pulled the pedestal for Quake, and he opened the Mire and TR entrances. The TR entrance was the bomb shop. The Mire entrance was nothing. According to Jinxie, who had neurotic levels of tracking, you'd both found every item cave. Did you know that, or were you just betting against what was left?
I don't strictly track. I keep the multi-item caves in mind and the 2-item caves as well. Otherwise, I was going to ignore potential singular item caves. But I was pretty sure I found most of them, so it's half and half, I guess.
So you knew the value was low, but you weren't 100% sure it was 0, which I guess that makes sense not prioritizing it, because you had locations like the monoliths that were similarly fast or slow to check and were guaranteed items you still hadn't done.
Yeah, exactly, but I thought that I had to save time somewhere, and I felt like Schulzer might have checked those overworld checks anyway, so I tried to prioritize, the high percent play, basically.
Yeah, really the only checks neither of you checked when we found Big Key that it could have been from viewership's perspective. We didn't know it was in Hera Basement, and we didn't know it was in Harmless Hellway.
Yeah, going back to Pod for the Big Key of Pod would have felt very awkward, and Pod was in a bad spot, so I didn't want to do that, and Hera Basement was Hera Basement. It sucks.
I mean, the other question is, would you have done Hera Basement before going back into Swamp at least?
I can't tell. I don't think so. I think I would have gone back into Swamp before doing Hera Basement.
So yeah, that was potentially, I I don't know if it was a win condition for Schulzer, but it definitely would have made the race very competitive if it landed there. Because, yeah, the options were just so few. And you both, like, Schulzer was ridiculously close to a full clear. You skipped a little more, but it's not like you skipped a lot.
Yeah, I skipped the medal, like, yeah, what, the tablets, that's what they're called. The tablets, Left Side Swamp, Hera Basement, and Spike Cave.
You also never pulled Pedestal.
That's true, that's fair.
I was actually dumbfounded you climbed GT without pulling Ped with all 3 pendants in your bag.
I mean, the thing about those dungeon clears, the pendant dungeon clears, was, well, except for Skywoods, is that they were required on their own. So I felt like the pedestal was less likely to have value. And yeah, I didn't want to commit a pedestal pull just yet. It was similar to the tablet checks, like, yes, you could have done that, but it's kind of isolated. It takes some time. I didn't want to commit to those.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild race, and it was kind of funny in terms of getting that mirror. Aga 1 super required this seed, obviously. That you had that death going for boots. Schulzer found the boots from the front well before you did, but Schulzer did not check the lava chest until it was, I think, his last location.
Oh,
But
that makes sense. I was wondering, like, what could have held him up, because I didn't feel terribly good. Like, I didn't feel like I did anything exceptionally well, right? And then there was the death that made me not get boots, so I didn't feel ahead. I can tell you that much.
But I mean, given the nature of this seed and what you ultimately had to do, I don't know if that really hurt Schulzer that badly. The main pain was just extra backtracking in Turtle Rock. Because, like, everything he checked, he was going to check anyway afterward.
Okay, makes sense. But yeah, I think in absolutely almost every case you're going for that mirror behind Aga, especially with how linear this seed was and with how few options we kind of had overall. I think not going for Aga would have been lunacy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think when Schulzer went for Aga, it was last location for him, but it's one of those last locations where it's like, well, yeah, obviously I have to do this. I'm missing like 5 dungeons.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, with that win, you will advance, and you will go on to face Zelda. Any feelings about that matchup?
It's gonna be tough. Schulzer, I felt, was also gonna be tough. He plays more Crosskeys than I do. In general, my path is like a whole death gauntlet, and man, I don't feel terribly confident getting through everything, but I'll do my best.
I mean, you're in top 8 now, so you are in the top 5% of runners in this tournament. You can't expect easy ones, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to add. I think this just about wraps us up.
Go watch Goomba versus Lin.
That's here in less than a half an hour. That's why I'm so quiet. I'm setting up to go and restream that. But GG's, it was so awesome. It was a great race, and look forward to seeing your next matchup.
Well, thank you. GG again.
Alright, so before we wrap this up for preparations for Goomba vs Lin, again thank you to our runners Illus and Schulzer. Also thank you to our commentators Amazing Ampharos and Jinxie Girl, and don't forget our trackers SaverioX and Tophile. We will be back for a link to the past rando, as we already said, in about 25 minutes. As a short preview, what's up next on CSR, we have at 6 PM Eastern, we are planning to restream a Zelda 2 Randomizer Standard Tournament match. And at 8 PM Eastern today, we have a Majora's Mask Randomizer Season 2 tournament match. For more Zelda content, please also check our schedule. And before we show the Crosskeys race, we raid over to a German streamer who's playing Crosskeys right now. And I think there is nothing more to say. So thank you very much for watching, and see you back in 25 minutes here on ZSR.